Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? Let me start off with welcome to the movie Marquee challenge and add the apology in now because this is the movie Marquee challenge week 4 update for April, and it's also the announcement for May's pick for the movie. What am I talking about, you ask? Well, let me tell you briefly, because I'm sure most of you guys that are here are already familiar, because last year I did this with Sandy from Crochet Canada, and this year I'm doing it with Bella and with Samantha from Bella's Crochet Gifts and Amethyst Craftworks, respectively. But in case you are new, in case you are just catching this, in case it's your first time wondering what the heck this movie Marquee thing is all about, briefly I will say, the three of us this year had pre-selected some movies at the beginning of the year. We are picking them. We are showing you the movie poster, and we are drawing inspiration from whatever colors speak to us most in the movie and making a project. We are also inviting you all lovelies to join us along and make a project. If you really don't like the movie, are not inspired by the colors, don't have the colors, whatever the reason you don't jive with it, you can use your own movie poster. And we would just ask that you show us what movie poster it is that you're using, which totally cool. I have seen some people who have went off the beaten path with their own movies, and I super loved it. And I love seeing what everybody likes and what inspires them to do things anyway. So that's great. For your posting purposes, my Facebook group is linked down below, and all three of us check in on that. And even if you don't want to participate or don't have time or can't or whatever the reason and you want to join the group, you should anyway, because we have other fun things going on, make-alongs and just, chit-chats. People are showing us what they make, which I love seeing, and yarn hauls and just all the good stuff. My page also is full of Stranger Things goodness and a little bit of rock and roll, and if any of that kind of stuff appeals to you, then we're probably the page for you. So you should come check us out, check on us, definitely check on us. Sometimes we're not well. But anyway, yeah. So that was probably my briefest possible explanation. And once a week, I strive to update you on my project, which this year I am doing the same tile, but in the different colors to make a big, awesome looking, in my opinion, boho looking, scrappy type of blanket. And you'll see why I say that, I'm sure, in a minute. But I've been playing catch up for these are my best excuses for you. I've been playing catch up for basically 2 months. Last month, I ended up finishing my tile like a week into this month. I'm finished this month, but right at the last days into the next morning. And honestly, my other excuse is I honestly thought that the day you're seeing this is May 1st, because I know it's after midnight already. I thought I had an extra day of April. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that April had 30 days. So I still thought that I was putting it out a day early. And I was very wrong. So I apologize. But because we always try it. It was Bella's pick this month, like I said, coming up here in May. And I know she's already put out her video. I just thought she put it out 2 days early. So, yeah. Anyway, the movie that we had for March, let's just start. Let's just go right into it. The movie that we had for March was my pick, and it was 10 Things I Hate About You. I still love that movie so much. I know I talked about it now for the 4th week, and I love it. I will never get tired of it. I love talking about it, so I love it. We all know by now, if you've been keeping up, it has, even if you haven't seen it, you know my love for Heath Ledger, you know my love for Julia Stiles. Those by far my 2 favorite people in the acting world, except for Stranger Things related people. I feel like if Heath Ledger were still with us today, he would be in Stranger Things just because he's that cool guy, right? Just let me believe it, please. Just let me believe it. I need that. Anyway, So from those colors in the poster, I put the yarns away. I had to ball basically all of them up anyway. So I would have just been showing you scrap balls by now. Now, as you may have just noticed in the flash that I just showed you, I did not finish getting all my ends sewn in. Also very unheather-like, I know. I've been very unheather-like. Not finishing on time, not updating on time, forgetting my days of the month, and now not getting my ends sewn in for the second month in a row. At least, okay, so for last month, I was still finishing into the first week of the new month, which was this last month here, right? I finished this time. I just have to do the ends into May. So I'm slowly catching up from my whole like concert season, which yeah, if you watched any of my past, like it was like more like my vloggy stuff that I was talking about, my whole reasons for being behind on like everything in life. Basically everything in life kind of goes on pause when my friends' bands go on tour, because I'm like crazy out of my head touring with them, almost going to so many shows and supporting them, and it's a mess. Like, it's a good mess. It's a chaotic mess, but it's a mess still, as far as like uprooting the rest of my life. My vacation time goes to it. My crochet time goes to it. Maverick barely knows where his mommy's at some given time. No, just kidding. I said, like, even the nights that I was away for the night, I sent videos home and voice clips home to David. And I was like, you have to play these for the boys. You have to show these to the boys. You have to tell them I said goodnight and give them kisses. And, you know, mommy loves them. And yeah, so I am that crazy dog mom. My boys always knew that I loved them, even when I was away. It was never like that. Anyway, so here's the colors. Let's just get back to the subject. Hey, how about that? 7 minutes in. How about we show you it? With the ends. Now, some of the I caught up more too, because I had been sewing in the ends until right here. So like as I rectangled this out, I just wanted to show you, I sewed the ends in from there up to here for each one. Each one of these rows is single crochet, and I cut it an end. So it's got 2 ends for every single row of color. And all the way around, I had sewed my ends in until a certain point where I was like, actually, so around this point where I stopped sewing in ends was me realizing that it was actually May 1st that I was going into after midnight. And because like David said something about it being May 1st, and I said, well, no, it's April 31st. And he's like, there's no 31st of April. And I did the usual, like, if we're not agreeing, you know, I had to fact check. So I looked at the calendar and I'm like, oh yeah, well. So luckily, we had already exchanged anniversary gifts, because May 1st is actually our anniversary also. There's a few anniversaries coming up. May 1st marks the happy anniversary, and then we are going to get into some sad ones, and I'm not going to talk about that here, but we'll talk about it later. So some of you who've been around already know what day is coming up. So yeah, that's about the point where I stopped sewing in ends, and I said, I just need to get this done. You know, I need to get it done. I need to get this video up. So I did. So yeah, here are the colors. Here's the way it came out. I decided to stripe in, as I had mentioned, there being so much green up here. I also striped in basically an extra stripe of green for each color, because I doubled it around the pink stripes. I had thought about doing more, but in all honesty, I thought I might use up too much of it. Because I had something else I wanted to do with a little bit of that scrap ball. We'll see if I end up even doing it, I guess, but yeah. And yeah, it for the most part rectangles out pretty well with doing it this way. It does pull in just a little bit, but when I put the black border on, it fixes it okay. It makes it a little wavy, and then I connect it to the other rectangle tiles, I should say, and they're not square. And they're also a little wavy, so the blanket will either eventually straighten out with the weight, or it'll be a little wavy. And I really don't care. It's so like funky, like I said, when I said you'll see later if you hadn't seen any of these tiles. It's so like funky, psychedelic-y looking anyway, depending on the colors that you use, I don't care if it's a little bit wavy. I really, really don't. I think it's just going to look cool. I think it's going to be something to really like kind of talk about. I don't know. I just really like it. If you're wondering what the heck pattern this is, everything is linked down below that I'm about to tell you, because I did take like some notes here that I read off of so I get it right. But this is a cal. It's a crochet along that was posted a few years ago at this point, and it was called the Anno 1926 cal. The designer was Aman Vanderkron. It was posted in September of 2021, actually. And the video tutorials, the channel that it's on is Tanya Leis, L-E-I-S. Again, all linked down below. And there are, 17 different parts to this crochet along. This is basically part, obviously it starts in the middle. It's part 1 up until here. These bigger green, that was, I believe, the end of part 1. And then part 2 starts with, I think, the white. And it went up to, the black is my own. That's where I started rectangling off. So it went from there to there. There's more to part 2, but the design started getting into some more designer things that I did not want as part of my aesthetic throughout the year. So I cut it off there. So I basically do like a part and a half, and then that's it. But like I said, there are 17 whole parts. Her lovely, beautiful design does make a whole blanket. And it's a rectangle by the end of the day. So you don't have to rectangle it out, or it's not going to be like a diamond shape. It's not going to, anything like that. But yeah. So that's what, and all my tiles are like this, but different colors. They want you to pick 9 colors, suggested 9 colors for the actual crochet along. I have tried to stick somewhere in that ballpark, but this one was it would have only been 4 colors, except I threw in the 2 additional colors for Heath's shirt and Julia's shirt, because I had to have the 2 of them basically wrapped up in each other in the middle of my square, just to symbolize them, because I ship them in that movie like no other. I love Patrick and Kat. I love them. I love that movie. I love everything about it. So that was my tile anyway. So complete, just not sewed in the end. So not fully complete, I guess, but crochet wise, complete. And then I will get those ends sewn in. I will get that and all the other squares joined up eventually. But let's talk about Bella's pick. So Bella, happy birthday the month, by the way, Bella. This is her birthday month. So she wanted to work things out so that she got to draw for this month, which Samantha and I were happy to do and accommodate, because yay, happy birthday once again. But she drew, are you ready? The Never-Ending Story. The Never-Ending Story. I hope I don't get copyrighted for that, but I had to do it. I guess if that part is like silent, you'll know that I had to clip it out or something. I don't know. How they got that copyright strike. I had to do my best Dustin impersonation though. And admittedly, okay, so I'm going to leave this up while I'm chatting with you about my knowledge of this movie. This movie came out when I was like super young, super young. And like, I'm sure it was on, we didn't get satellite TV. We didn't get cable TV. My grandparents, I lived with my grandparents and my mom. And I'm sure, well, I know they only wanted, just at the time back in the 80s, it was, who remembers just antenna TV, right? So I'm sure at some point when I was still pretty young, when it was probably one of the newer, like, Friday night movie type things, it was on, and that's probably when I saw it, because I was pretty young. I did see the movie. If I was that young, I was probably, I don't know, because like I definitely I remember aspects of the movie. I probably should rewatch it. Is probably what I should do. I remember the dragon. I think everybody probably remembers him, even if they haven't seen the movie. I'm sure they're familiar with him. And obviously I remember the boy. I don't remember the boy's name. It was a boy, right? I remember the child, because I remember the scene where like it's probably most of the movie, but I very vividly remember watching the TV and watching the child on the dragon, like probably here on the dragon or whatever. And I remember like, oh, that would be so cool. Like I remember thinking that because I was very into like fairy tales and sci-fi, and so the movie should have been right up my alley. So I'm not sure what maybe I was obsessed with at the time that it didn't. Maybe that was my Star Wars phase, because like I said, I was pretty little and I was pretty into Star Wars very early on, like very early on. That's another story for another time. But but yeah, I don't remember much of it. I should refamiliarize myself for sure. Like I know it's one of the classics, and yeah. So my fondest memory is laying on, when you're the little kid stance, right? You're laying on your belly and you're watching the TV like this, maybe, right? Like on Friday night with your family. Laying there like that and watching it and seeing that part of, like I said, the kid riding the dragon. And then obviously I remember the movie references and the Stranger Things references to it. And yeah, so that's, I should rewatch it. But anyway, we're here to talk about the colors, right? So the colors that I picked out. Now, in the poster, I know it's in front of you, not me, so give me a little slack here. But there is a guy in like a suit who is riding something. Are they all dragons in the poster? I know the big dragons. There's a guy in a suit. Anyway, top hat. He looks kind of steampunkish looking to me if you really look at the actual picture of him. He's got like a top hat and he's got his suit, and he's like a gentleman looking guy. I don't remember this movie enough to know if he's like a main character. Well, he's not, right? Because like the movie centers around like the kid and the dragon mostly, right? So, but I don't know the guy is the point. But he's in this suit, which is, the colors changed slightly because he's in this like beam of light, I'm aware. But I know it's a shade of brown. And I think that the light makes it lighter, obviously. But we're going to go with this color, which is a big twist value in the color camel. I think his suit might be just a little darker, but the darker browns that I have were like way darker brown. So, and there's different shades of brown in the rock guys and the guys that are all like white with some green, and we'll get into that though too in a minute. So there's a little bit of brown shading, I think, around some of them. So we're going to go with camel. And my other full skein, well, it's not a full skein. These are my floppy skeins because I also didn't mention that I am endeavoring to use up all my scraps and my floppy skeins and my one-ofs and things like that. So that's what I'm trying to do here. But my other floppy skein in here is the Red Heart with Love that I have used, I think, once before, maybe twice, for this challenge. It is in the color Blue Hawaii, but there is the blue lights around the characters and around the stars and the constellation out, in space. There's several different shades of blue. I think this might be the only blue that I actually picked, but this is definitely like in there. And her eyes, the princess, empress, princess, the chick, her eyes are also a shade of blue if I remember correctly. So we're gonna go with this anyway. I really need to rewatch that movie. Like, I was so little. I don't even know. Like, that had to have been some special, you can stay up and watch this because it looks like a kid's movie type of special night because, I mean, I was so little. But anyway, then the light that is bathing everybody in the cover. The light is kind of like a fiery looking light. I mean, it's luckily for everybody, I don't think it's fire. But two of the colors that kind of stood out to me in it were like a gold, like a deeper golden color to the light. And there is a little bit of orange around the outside because it is kind of a fiery looking light. So we're going to add in the gold, and maybe in my patterns, the gold will be outlined in a little bit of orange. So I'm going to use those, which this, okay, so now I got to remember scraps. This is, I believe this is the same, if you watched Bella's movie Marquee video reveal, I believe this is the same yarn from Michael's that she's using, and she had the actual skein of it. So check her information because I can't remember what it is, but it's a Michael's brand. So, and I'm sure it's probably in the color gold or goldenrod or something like that. They're not terribly creative when they name their stuff. So usually, sometimes they get you, but yeah. So like it's a deep gold. And then this is still the all giving, never ending ball story. No, ball of, or skeins of Bernat Super Value in the color orange that I had gotten. And they were on clearance from Myers so long ago. And I cannot for the life of me remember how many I got, but I feel like it wasn't anywhere near the amount that I have used. And I keep finding them. And funny story, when I was looking through my yarns tonight, so I have a shelf, and then at the bottom of the shelf are some bins that has kind of been like overflow, or like some like Goodwill yarns that I haven't used yet, that kind of thing. And when I was straightening out yarn, I must have been like, look, another one, and shoved it in there. There's another full skein of this in there. So I found another one. So I have more of the breeding orange yarn. Oh, there is another blue. So the light has multiple shades of blue, right? The Starlight or whatever, Cosmo Light. So this is the other blue that I picked to go with it. And this actually was what is left of a tent sale yarn. Yarnspirations tent sale. Just a skein that was probably like around this size. It was like a smaller, but they're kind of Caron Simply Soft feeling and shiny-ish. And so because they were shiny, I went ahead and added this because I have not yet used any Caron Simply Soft with this project. I've been sticking to more like the flat matte value yarns, but hopefully it'll work out fine. It probably will. This is a Caron Simply Soft. I don't know the color. It's been balled up for so long. It might just be green. I don't really know. But the rock guys and the stone looking guys, they've got like different moss looking bits is what it looks like to me on them. And this was the closest green that I had to that just like greenish color. So I thought this would fit in. And speaking of the rock guys, my last two colors are in reminiscence of them. I have this, it was a Red Heart tweed. I actually made, if you ever saw the voodoo dolls that I made for David a long time ago, like maybe when I first started the channel a long time ago, it might have been before I started this channel. I made it out of this type of yarn. So it might just be called Aran tweed. I'm not sure. I don't even know if they make it anymore because it's the only time I ever had it was for the voodoo dolls. I must have had a random skein of it from somewhere because I remember I had to go to the store and hunt it down and buy some more for the voodoo dolls. So this was like the leftover of it, and I just haven't used it for anything. But, you know, it kind of looks like stonish and speckleish, and so I'm going to use it for that instead of using a white. And then I'm bringing back the Red Heart with Love gray that I used some of for last month's. This was Patrick's shirt, Heath Ledger's shirt, but it is also some of the shading on the rock guys. So, gray. I do have black in here. I don't know yet if I'll feel the need to use it because honestly, I I can't believe I'm saying this, but I feel like I am going to need to restock my Red Heart with Love black. I had what I thought was also like a never-ending stock of this. I've come to rely on it. It is by far my favorite color to join squares with, like black is, but it's also like the Red Heart with Love black is, it's just my favorite to go to for like any kind of basic acrylic stuff. I don't mind other ones, but like I've come to really, really like this. And I've come to love the fact that I always have like a skein of it here or there to pull from. And I am running out, like at a fast level. So if I make any yarn purchases in the near future, it probably should be this. Like I'll probably buy some other stuff, but it probably should be some Red Heart with Love. And I need to line squares from, or tiles from this challenge with these. And I have some other stuff to use black in. And I only have a few more like skeins of this. I think I have 2 more. I think. So. And I want to get some brown to use with the, if you watched my vintage yarn, I would like to use some Red Heart with Love brown, but I used all of that. So I need to get some more of that too. Never thought I would say that after all the Red Heart with Love that I bought in that sale. But anyway, this is in there. So that's like a standby color. So that took long enough to explain everything, but that's the multitude of colors that I'm going to use. Hopefully you agree with at least some of them. Yeah. And this is this month has 31 days in it. Right? Do you ever keep track of, okay, so when I was a kid, I learned to keep track of months like this. So like the high knuckle is 31, it's January, and then February is down in the dip, so that's less than 31. So you go like January, February, March is a knuckle, so it's 31. April is a dip, so it's less than 31. It's just a way that kids remember it. I saw it somewhere when I was a kid, and seriously, if I'm ever in doubt, I actually do that sometimes. Like, I guess I shouldn't ask if you ever do it, but have you ever seen it? Like, I should have done that for April. But then it's like January, February, March, April, May. So May's a knuckle, so it's 30. And then June, July, and then you start over here for August. That's why you got July and August are both 31. Anyway, you get it. Anyway. Those are my colors. That's the Movie Marquee Challenge. Go check out Bella. Go check out Samantha. They're going to have awesome projects going for this movie also. And like I said, if you want to join along or if you want to see what other people are doing, if you have a Facebook, you can check out my Facebook group, which is also linked down below. It's always in my videos. So if you ever feel the need to come check us out, come check us out. We're a fun group. I am going to finally shut up and let you guys go. Because I have hopefully another video or 2 to get done tonight. And yeah, and technically like it's my anniversary, so I want to get to bed and wake up and have my anniversary. So I will talk to you guys later. I love you. Bye guys.